Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I made a video to learn profile risk assessment using Power BI. Let's start. First, first of all, risk calculation for financial metrics. Here we can learn date A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There are seven languages. Average land amount is 800, 900, 8539 is 8A. Average interest rate is 7.33 and difficult rate is 0.10. Average land amount is 9995.48. Average interest rate is 11.00. Difficult rate is 0.16. Average land amount is 9213.86. Average interest rate is 16.46 and default rate is 0.21 and land rate is in 849.28 and average interest rate is 15.36 and the default rate is 0.559. The average is 12 is here we can see the land rate F is the land rate J is the highest average land lot and average interest rate is the highest and default rate is 0.98. Correlation correlation finding land amount and versus default rate is 0.94. Interest rate versus default rate is 0.94. Next slide. Next slide is visualization of land state. The incentive. The incentive is highest. The incentive first is highest default rate are observed amount return which shortest element shortest element length is 0 to 2 years. Mortgage holders have the relevant lower default rate restricts high land counts. Longer element highest is correctly with better replacement behavior. So here we can study the distributed of land space across employee land and home offsuit space. Next slide is segmentation analyzing using land interest. Drawing in segmentation by land interest with average income and land amount per category. Average income and average land amount by land interest in turn. This some some graph here is the x-axis is land income and y-axis is land average land average land income and land amount average land amount average income and average land amount. Keyword is average income is highest of for for home improvement land is 74K. Land to income is ratio is overall is 0.15. and show the highest land to income ratio amount in 10. Next slide is time the serious amount and credited history length. Turn to default rate cost rate the highest history length with fill enable and expression. This is the term graph of default rate by CV person rate history length. This is the CV person history length, and then another histogram is land count and sum of this CV person credited history length. A keyword before date is fluctuated over different candidate history length and browse which shows candidate history shows the model risk and then the last is land history. If land history 20 years old and ovarian can still have still in default indicated maximum browse quantity. Next slide. Predicted incentive and what if analysis. Significant simulation with what if the parameter to analyze impact of interest rate and variation on default rate. Default rate and simulated default rate by land rate. The highest interest rate for correlated relation with highest default rate. Simulated sequence shows difficult rate ring 0.1110 grade A to 0.98 grade G. What if the analysis helps stakeholder focus forces this under taking interesting environments? Advantages this for this assumption risk for then is the risk for combining landlord arrangement and the second is land or to income percentage default history and employee length. This is the detox function. These are key measures to copy the Power BI. Defaulted is equal to divided into sum credited skill is the dataset and landlord. And then count rows is the skills field dataset. Risk logic and measure. Risk logic and measure credit average candidate risk if it was the variable items divided. This is the data table and landlord calculate the average is the data table name and long length amount. All all the data tables and bracket close while PTC a new variable. This is the data table name and then the land product land product income virtual disk if the formula of 0 1 and return is 0.35 into z plus 0.35 into PTC plus 0.20 in default is plus 0.1 into employee payment. How to use put this code logic and museum on the matrix land rate and land interest rate. Store by default rate to see the amount averaging between score and relative default. Tweet price 0.35, 0.35, 0.20, and 0.10 per business policy. 11 calculation. Next slide is security ensure this scientific data or RLS, Row level security. First of all is the model a security table. Create a table user design with follow UP, UPN or email. Risk taking on development and risk taking and develop focus on the state and relationship to single this this create a rose model and view this as select. Then is the test of the test in desktop. His home view was select the rows or entries and test UPN to simulated user visualization. Visualize public and assume in services. Public in dataset and services add user or group to is rows. Share app and recorded RLS ensure for non-owner without bill permission. Tips if is used for emails. This can be replaced relationship. RLS applies to duplicate important and to to explore expectation RLS. AVL. Will be a relationship on this security path perfect significant during test first report this code and share dataset RLS tables with the dataset. Next slide is necessary dashboard creating a publicly com- comprehensive Power BI dashboard with negative tools, tips, and Power BI services sharing. Dashboard design combine these metrics, land amount, interest rate, deposit score. Is socially for filter land rate, interest rate, creating history, other steps, stuff like add these tool tips for explain on the power. Provide the negative tabs. Risk analysis, segmentation, what the publicly and sharing. So publicly to the record for the Power BI desktop to Power BI service, sharing the dashboard link with the stakeholder view the services. Set RLS low level security to the restricted access restricted by rule. Enable enable collaboration, complex subsequence, sub, subsequently refers, etc. So, thank you guys.